Aquarius diver job is I'm one of the divers that goes in one of 3 tanks and feed the fish and help clean the aquarium. We clean the windows, wipe the windows down, and scrub the rocks to keep the algae and things like that from growing on them, and just keep the aquarium looking nice for the public. And my other position as a speaker, which is what I'm doing here this evening, I do slide presentations for various organizations, Rotary clubs, Aquinas, different civic organizations, and do a brief 20-30-minute slide presentation about the aquarium and what it is and a little bit about it, and hopefully encourage people to come to the aquarium. That's the Aquarium Pacific, and it's for those adults, it's a nonprofit organization and governed by a board of directors and funded by private bonds. This is an artist's conception of what Rainbow Harbor will eventually look like once it's been remodeled, and there's shops and Ferris wheel, and you see all kinds of things that are going to be going in. Hopefully this will be completed by the year 2002. They are expecting many visitors, and there's a water taxi that transports people from the Queen Mary to the aquarium and over toward the Shoreline Village for the shopping area and restaurants. Now this is also a shot of the aquarium from across the harbor, and you can see on the roof line, it looks like 3 waves. This is a theme that's continued throughout the aquarium to show the 3 regions of the Pacific that the aquarium showcases: the tropical Pacific, the northern Pacific, and the Southern California / Baja area. The aquarium was designed by the same people who designed the Monterey Bay Aquarium up in Monterey, California, if any of you have been up there. This is another shot, an aerial view of the aquarium with boats in the harbor. That bridge goes over there. That's the Queensway Bridge that goes over and connects to the Queen Mary. And they have public charter boats. You can get charter fishing boats and dive boats from this area and going out to the ocean. This is one of our guest associates. They're there to take they take your ticket, give you your tickets, and answer any questions you may have. And hopefully they're always smiling like she is. Now they call this the Great Hall. This is what you first see when you enter the aquarium. You see the replica scale model of a blue whale right there. And in the very back behind the blue whale is an area that's one of the major exhibits called the Blue Cavern. And that's to represent the northern Pacific, or the colder parts of the Pacific Ocean. In front of you there, that area that you see into that tunnel-like thing, is the tropical preview tank. And here's another view of the blue whale and a calf. And this is from an upstairs view. The blue whale is the largest mammal on Earth. And this was donated by the Edison Company, Southern California Edison, and they're named Edie and Eddie. And the mother is 88 feet long and weighs 8,000 pounds, and the calf is 21 feet long and weighs 600 pounds. And they were constructed from a polyurethane foam with a fiberglass shell, and were delivered from Arizona, and they were 7 pieces and had to be put together and mounted, hanging from the ceiling. And I don't know who goes up there and dusts them. This is the tropical preview tank. It's a small tank to give you an idea of what what's going on in there. We have, there's the coral in this exhibit, and most of the exhibits you see, the coral is artificial. It's made out of concrete or some other kind of material, but it's painted and designed to look exactly like the real thing. The aquarium's goal is to eventually replace the artificial coral with live coral that they have been cultivating internally from outcroppings. They are on an off-site facility, but they are really growing coral and trying to eventually replace this phony coral or fake coral with real live coral. The Blue Cavern exhibit is one of the largest exhibits they have. It's also the preview to the Baja California Gallery. It's 3 stories tall. That thing is actually 3 stories tall there. It has 150,000 gallons of water in it. It features the animals that they consider at the top of the food chain. That means these are the animals that eat other animals. They're yellowtail, barracuda, leopard sharks, giant black sea bass, moray eels, and there's some rays in there. And let's see what else in there, lingcod. And let's see, there's a number of other species of fish in there. And this has also been recreated to look like a favorite California dive spot. So it's tried to make it look as real as possible. And you can see there's a person standing down there at the bottom, so you can see how tall this is. The glass in this runs from 6 to 9 inches thick, the acrylic plastic on this. Now we're going into Southern California in the Baja exhibit area. They call this the Amber Forest. There's a school of over 300 sardines, Garibaldi, which look like goldfish, giant sea stars, and simulates what a kelp forest looks like off the California coast, like right off of Palos Verdes where you have the kelp growing, or off Catalina, any of the Channel Islands we have here of Southern California. It looks very similar to this. Can anybody tell me what this is? Jellyfish, exactly. That's called a moon jelly. And the body of this jellyfish is 95% water and 5% protein. And it eats plankton, shrimp, plants, and crabs. This is the sea lion and seals exhibit tunnel. There is one large pool for the seals and sea lions, and this tunnel goes through the middle of it. So the seals and sea lions actually go underneath the floor here and go on one side or the other. It has 3 sea lions and 4 harbor seals, and they have come from other zoos or aquariums. None have been captured out in the ocean and brought here. They've already been in captivity before they came here. And this is Shelby, our harbor seal. Does anybody know the difference between a seal and a sea lion? I see, okay, the hand over there in the front there, the young lady. I can't hear you. Have what? Okay. The difference, you see the, right behind the sea lion's eye there's a hole for an ear. Seals, which that is, don't have ear flaps like we do. They don't have an external ear like a cat or a dog has. A sea lion does. Also, their fins are different. And they're harder for seals to walk on land, like sea lions can walk fairly easily, and they're the ones you see at circuses doing the tricks. You rarely see seals because they don't walk that good. That's Miller, with what we call a mammologist, a young lady there that is an expert in mammals. That's her job. Her name is Debbie, and this is one of our most popular exhibits. And they have enhancement viewings are offered throughout the day to give the visitor an opportunity to see how the animals are fed and working with their trainers. And that one's Brandy. Can you see the ear on the side? You see it's a little easier to see. They have something sticking out there on the ear. So that's a sea lion. And her name is Brandy, and that's Jenny, the mammologist. And that's part of the exhibit there. And this is Miller. And you see he's sticking his tongue out. We got him from Knott's Berry Farm, and that's not a normal sea lion behavior. Part of the things he did at Knott's Berry Farm was that part of his act, he stuck his tongue out. Well, we don't do shows here. This is not a performing arts theater here at the aquarium, but he still has the old habits. You know, old habits die hard. And so every now and then he'll stick his tongue out, hopefully to get some food, get a reward, get a piece of fish. And this is Ellie, the harbor seal. This is the Kids Cove area. It's for families. Kids Cove area's theme is families and habitats. The children can climb on a whale model, play in sandboxes, and participate in puppet shows and a story time performed in the Marine Life Theater. And they have artificial turtles you can play on and ride, and not ride, but sit on and do various activities here. They try to keep the kids very entertained while they're here for the day. They also have classrooms. This is in the Sparklets Learning Center and offers educational experiences that teach children about marine life in an interactive classroom setting. See the giant starfish there. And the skeleton off to the side. This is the Discovery Lab on the California Terrace. It's out one of our outside areas. It's a touch tank. And there are 3 different Discovery Labs, one in each area, one in each gallery, that educate the children and adults with hands-on experience. Volunteers facilitate the touch experiences with the animals. This is a green sea turtle. And this habitat here, which is outside upstairs, is the home of 2 male and 2 female Eastern Pacific green sea turtles. They're sometimes known as black sea turtles. They came from SeaWorld in San Diego. This tank here is one of the favorites of the kids and adults too. It's a ray and skate exhibit. It's a touch tank. Hopefully they'll swim by, they go back and forth all the time, and if they get close enough you can actually reach your hand in the water and gently stroke their backs. You'll be surprised how soft and silky they feel. This is the Sea of Cortez in Baja, Mexico. The Sea of Cortez is considered to be one of the most biodiverse areas of the Pacific, which means it's got a lot of sea life, a lot of different kinds of fishes living in the ocean there. So they tried to make an area in the aquarium look very much like Baja. And there's the Sea of Cortez exhibit. These fish are called Mexican lookdowns, and they're one of many unusual species of fish in the exhibit. You can see they have their eyes real on kind of way high, and it looks like they're looking down all the time, frowning. So they're called Mexican lookdown fish. There's a butterfly fish in the Sea of Cortez exhibit. And they've accurately recreated artificially the coral that does live in the area. That's a porcupine fish. Can anybody tell me what that does when it gets nervous? Just shout it out. Okay. What did they do? They swell up. They fill themselves full of water, and you see they have little bitty like spikes on their skin. They stick out like a porcupine, and so it's hard for the big fish to swallow them. Now we're going to head into the northern Pacific where it's really cold. This gallery features marine life from the colder waters of the Russian, the Japan, and Alaskan coastlines. This is the Kamchatka coastline in Russia, also known for its vodka. But it's really cold there. And this is part of the Northern Pacific Gallery. When you come into this area, there's a cold mist that they have coming out of the exhibit, and it's actually very cold in there, and the surging water introduces you to the colder climate that you'd find. And this exhibit here is the puffins. They're diving birds. They actually dive in the water and go fishing for fish. And there's one of them. They're native to the Alaskan waters, and they're a relative to penguin. And about the size of a big pigeon or a seagull, about that size. Sea otter. Our sea otters were orphan pups that came from the Monterey Bay, and they eat 1/3 of their body weight, an equivalent of 9 pizzas a day.